My brother died unexpectedly, and I took out the IOU he had signed during his lifetime to demand repayment at his doorstep. By all reasoning, debts should vanish with death, yet I refused to relent. His disabled daughter knelt begging me. Uncle, when I earn money in the future, I'll pay you back. Okay, I glared coldly. What kind of job can a cripple even find? His blind wife offered to sell herself. Brother Sue, we can't even afford food. Sell me instead. I smiled faintly. Perfect. I have connections. This crippled daughter of yours should be worth some money too. Hearing my last words, Zhou Jing kneeling on the ground trembled violently, lifting her head in disbelief. Brother Sue, is this even human speech? My daughter's still so young. How could you consider this? Sell me if you must, but don't you dare lay a finger on my daughter. Zhou Jing clutched her wheelchair-bound daughter Duo fiercely to her chest. Duo shuddered violently, burrowing desperately into Zhou Jing's embrace. Mom, Uncle Su Chong is bad. Bad person. Zhou Jing raised her head, her eyes already swollen and red. Really, we don't have a single cent left. The food we've eaten recently was all scavenged from trash bins. Even the sanitary pads I'm using now were discarded by others. You know exactly what our family situation is like, Brother Sue. How can you be like this as a human being? Zhou Jing's words successfully ignited my fury. Then how should a human being act? Should I follow your example, defaulting on debts, to qualify as a proper person? You acted like a grandson when borrowing money. Now you want to play the big boss? Zhou Jing wiped her tears. What right do you have to demand repayment from me? That money was borrowed by Su Kai, and he's already dead. Go ask him for it. I slapped her across the face without hesitation. You want me to collect debts from a corpse? Seeing Zhou Jing struck, Duo in the wheelchair immediately lunged at me. Don't bully my mom, you bad person. A slight sidestep sent her sprawling face first to the ground. Duo was caught off guard and slammed straight onto the ground, immediately bleeding profusely from her nose. As soon as she saw the blood, she opened her mouth wide and burst into tears. Facing the piercing cries, I furrowed my brows and snapped harshly. You little bastard, did I allow you to cry? That noise is unbearable. Shut your filthy mouth. Duo. Zhou Jing groped for her daughter's location. Su Chong, you beast. How dare you lay hands on Duo when she's still so young? I sneered contemptuously. You filthy blind woman, still trying to slander me? Not only are you blind, but is your memory failing too? The borrower was indeed Su Kai, but this IOU clearly lists you, Zhou Jing, as the guarantor. This debt naturally falls on you. Zhou Jing hugged Duo to her chest, heartbroken. Su Chong, I beg you, have mercy on us. We're just a disabled mother and daughter. Hearing this, I laughed outright. Have mercy on you? Then who's going to have mercy on me? I paused. Aren't you both cripples? Don't worry, I've already found jobs for you. The older one will work at a nightclub, and the little one can go beg on the streets. If that doesn't work, sell blood regularly, maybe even a kidney. At these words, Zhou Jing beat her chest and stamped her feet in fury. Heavens, you truly are inhuman. Zhou Jing's wails nearly shook the entire building. The commotion grew so loud that villagers gathered around. What's happening here? Hearing the voices, Zhou Jing clung to the hope of rescue, crawling toward the crowd. Kind neighbors, you must stand up for us. My husband borrowed his money, but now that my husband's gone, he wants to sell me to a nightclub. He won't even spare my young daughter. Seeing the blind woman and the lame child on the ground, the neighbor's fury was about to engulf me. What's wrong with you? The mother and daughter are already in such a miserable state, yet you keep pushing them. Fucking heartless bastard. If you keep harassing them, I'll call the police right now. I swear. I chuckled instead of getting angry. Then I should thank you for saving me the phone bill. The man put down his phone and spat a mouthful of saliva right at me. I've never seen such a shameless piece of trash in my life. And to think that man was your sworn brother. Friends don't prey on their friends' wives. Can't you even understand basic decency? Hearing this, Zhou Jing seemed to seize the opening. Su Chong, won't you just let us go? Though it's true my husband borrowed money from you. Think back over a decade ago, when you were struggling, it was my man who pulled you up. You owe your success today to him. Don't be ungrateful. I swear I'll raise Duo properly. She'll repay your kindness tenfold when she grows up. Before Zhou Jing could finish, I spat a mouthful of saliva at her. I spit on that. A blind person like you wants to raise a cripple? While you're still young, you can help me entertain those clients with unique tastes. The debt will be paid off quickly this way. If that still doesn't cover it, the child's organs should be worth a fair amount. As I spoke, I plopped Duo onto the wheelchair. Let me examine her properly. See if we can squeeze out more value. Su Chong, you madman. Zhou Jing sprang up and lunged at me. But a mere blind woman was no match. I just stuck out my foot and sent her face planting. When Duo saw blood trickling from Zhou Jing's mouth, she burst into loud wails. Mommy, mommy. Uncle, please stop bullying mommy. Duo will be good. I'll do WH. 8 you ask. The villagers watching couldn't hold back tears at the sight of such precious yet pitiful obedience. The village chief couldn't bear to watch any longer and stepped forward on the spot. Su Chong, you're truly inhuman. However much they owe you, I'll help them repay it. I pulled out the IOU. Not much. The principal is only 100,000 yuan. Hearing this, the village chief gritted his teeth. Fine. 100,000. I'll pay it back for them. I chuckled darkly. Don't rush, village chief. Though the principal was just 100,000, their failure to repay on time constitutes a serious breach of contract. With accrued interest, the total now is 2.1 million. Out of generosity, I'll round it down to an even 2 million. 2 million. This is outright extortion. The village chief clutched his chest, nearly succumbing to a heart attack from fury. Village chief, the interest terms are clearly written in black and white. How dare you accuse me falsely? Besides, if you're willing to pay 100,000, and with so many kind villagers here, if each of you donates tens of thousands, won't you be able to help them pay off the debt soon enough? When they heard I was asking them for money, the villagers' faces showed uneasy expressions. What's wrong? You all cursed me so fiercely. Can't you at least help repay some for this mother and daughter? How about this? I kicked Duo off the wheelchair and pushed it toward the villagers. I'll sell this wheelchair first. How much do you think it's worth? Zhou Jing crawled toward me. Su Chong, that wheelchair is my daughter's legs. If you sell it, you might as well kill me. Just kill me. Will that clear the debt? Looking at Zhou Jing groveling on the ground, I sneered coldly. You stinking blind woman, aren't you overestimating yourself? Do you really think your wretched life is worth 2 million? But I can suggest another money-making method. Go to a big city and find luxury cars to crash scam. You might actually get 2 million. As I spoke, I lifted Duoduo's wheelchair high. Anyone willing to buy this? If no one buys it, I'll smash it and sell it as scrap metal. The neighbor Andy stepped forward. How much? I'll take it. 20,000. 20,000. Su Chong, why don't you just rob a bank? Think it's expensive? Then 30,000. 20,000 it is. The auntie gritted her teeth and paid, then helped Duo back into the wheelchair. Duo wept. Auntie, you're so kind. I'll repay you properly someday. But before she could warm the seat, I kicked her off the wheelchair again. The wheelchair's 20,000. Any buyers? Witnessing this, the auntie exploded. Su Chong, how can you be so shameless? Can't you see there's nothing left in their house? Can't you even leave them this wheelchair? Nothing left. I patted the brick walls. These bricks might fetch some money when dismantled. With that, I dialed the excavator company's number. Zhou Jing's voice was filled with despair. Su Chong, if you demolish this home, where will Duo and I go? Do you want us to sleep on the streets? I nodded slightly. Sleeping on the streets suits you. Hand me the money you beg for daily. That'll count as your interest payment. Su Chong, you're utterly heartless. How can you go this far? As they spoke, the excavator arrived at the scene. I'll ask one last time. Can you repay the debt? At that moment, Zhou Jing suddenly pulled out a knife from somewhere. She pressed the sharp knife against her own neck. Su Chong, if you dare tear down this house, I'll kill myself right here. Fine, demolish it. The excavator slammed into the wall, causing roof tiles to crash down and villagers to scatter in panic. You're serious? Zhou Jing clutched the knife handle tightly. I smirked. If you want to die, then hurry up and die. Just as the excavator prepared to resume work, village chief once again stepped forward. Su Chong, although Zhou Jing was the guarantor back then, the contract was signed by Lin Zhang. You should go collect the debt from Lin Zhang. You want me to collect debts from a dead man? The village chief seized on my loophole like a predator. Whoever borrowed it, you go collect from them. Zhou Jing put down the knife in her hand. Yes, go collect from that dead ghost. Before Zhou Jing could finish, I ordered the excavator operator. Fine. Dig up Lin Zhang's grave for me. Hearing this, Zhou Jing instantly panicked and blocked the excavator's path. Su Chong, can't you let my husband rest in peace even after death? I couldn't be bothered to argue and shoved her aside with a kick. Dig. At my command, Lin Zhang's coffin was unearthed in a few swift moves. Duo clung to the coffin, pleading, please let my dad sleep peacefully. I stepped forward, threw her aside, and ordered the excavator to pry open the coffin lid directly. At this moment, all the villagers could no longer remain seated. Su Chong, if you dare touch Lin Zhang's coffin today, you won't leave this village alive. As the words fell, the excavator forcefully pried open Lin Zhang's coffin lid. In the next second, everyone present was dumbfounded. The coffin that should have contained Lin Zhang's body was completely empty. What's going on? Faced with the vacant coffin, the villagers immediately crowded around it. Zhou Jing crawled toward the coffin. Lin Zhang, look at your good brother. He won't even let you rest in peace after death. Please come back to life. Without you, they all bully us mother and child. Zhou Jing's hands frantically groped around inside the coffin, trying to touch Lin Zhang's corpse. An elderly woman nearby couldn't bear to watch anymore and stepped forward to pull Zhou Jing back. Stop touching. There's nothing inside. Zhou Jing frowned deeply. Nothing? What do you mean there's nothing? Zhou Jing reached into the coffin even more frantically, not stopping even when her hands had been cut by wood splinters. Linzhong, Linzhong. I turned to look at the village chief behind me. Chief, you told me to get compensation from the dead. Now even the corpse is gone. Who am I supposed to find? The village chief snapped out of his shock and rushed to check if the coffin had been tampered with, disbelief written across his face. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. On the day of the funeral, the entire village watched as Lin Zhang was placed into the coffin and buried. How could he disappear? Enough nonsense. If we don't find that corpse today, I'll tear down their house. The village chief's eyes flashed with a ferocious glare. At a time like this, you're still obsessed with making them repay money? You're nothing but a money-grubbing worm. I chuckled darkly. Isn't paying debts what's right and proper? The village chief immediately rallied the villagers. Search every inch. We must find Lin Zhang's body. But after combing through the area, the villagers found not a single trace of Lin Zhang. If you can't find him, let's call the police. Perfect timing. I'll demand my money back right in front of the officers. Zhou Jing and Duo had been wailing non-stop while clinging to Lin Zhang's coffin, but the moment they heard my words, they instantly became frantic. You can't call the police. Upon hearing this, the village chief froze with astonishment. Why can't we call the police? Zhou Jing hurriedly explained. He's already dead. The body might have been dragged off by wild dogs or something. Reporting it would just waste police resources. Now that Duo and I are useless burdens, we really shouldn't trouble the villagers or society any further. Zhou Jing sniffled, wiping away non-existent tears from the corners of her eyes. The village chief sighed deeply. Girl, you're just too kind-hearted. Even at a time like this, you're still thinking of others. If you're truly worried about causing trouble, just build a cenotaph for Lin Zhang. He then turned to me. Consider this an old man's plea. Let this poor mother and child be. I'll owe you a personal favor. I waved my hand with a smile. Chief, I'm not a good person, nor a bad one. I just want what's rightfully mine. If she's afraid of wasting police resources, then I'll call the police for her. A flicker of panic crossed Zhou Jing's face. Brother Su, how about this? Every month from now on, I'll take my child to beg on the streets. All the money we get will go toward repaying the debt. I sneered. How much could begging possibly earn? With that, I grabbed Duo, who was still nearby, and prepared to toss her into the grave pit. You must give me the 2 million today, or I'll bury this child with her father. Duo struggled desperately in my grip. Mommy, save me. Xu don't act rashly. The child is innocent. Duo's legs are already crippled. Do you want her paralyzed from the waist down too? One question, will you pay or not? I'll pay. I'll pay. I'll pay. Zhou Jing screamed the 3 words frantically, but I'd already let go, hurling Duo into the grave pit. Xu I'll kill you. The enraged villagers swarmed forward and surrounded me. You dare lay hands on such a young child. Do you think we'll let you leave today? Facing the villagers' rage, I not only showed no fear, but actually laughed. You demon. I pointed at the burial pit. See for yourselves. Though puzzled, the villagers followed my pointing finger. There stood Duo, the girl who had been paralyzed in both legs, now miraculously standing upright in the pit. Duo raised her head, gave me an awkward glance, then shouted excitedly to Zhou Jing, Mom, my legs are healed. My legs are healed. The villagers pulled Duo from the pit. She threw herself into Zhou Jing's arms. Mom, my legs are better. Now I can take good care of you. Witnessing such filial piety, the astonished villagers were deeply moved. The heavens have finally opened their eyes. Now this mother and daughter can suffer less. I interrupted them from the side. Look, it's thanks to me that Duo's legs were cured. How should you thank me? The villagers glared at me angrily. Thank you? If anything had happened to the child, we would have held you accountable. Unexpectedly, Zhou Jing actually knelt down. Brother Su, thank you. You see, now that Duo's legs are healed, she can study and work like a normal person in the future. I beg you to give me a few more years. All right. Hearing this, a long-lost smile appeared on Zhou Jing's face. But the monthly interest will be calculated as 2 million. Hearing this number, Zhou Jing's features twisted in horror. 2 million? Do you want my daughter to slave away for you her entire life? I smiled faintly. Anyway, she'll just be slaving for others in society when she grows up. It's the same working for me. Absolutely impossible. Zhou Jing desperately shielded Duo behind her. Nothing is impossible in this world. If there is, it just means the conditions aren't sufficient yet. If I add this thing to the mix, do you think it could make you serve me as oxen and horses for a lifetime? As I spoke, I pulled out a document from my bag. Before other villagers could see clearly, the supposedly blind Zhou Jing charged forward and snatched the document from my hands with pinpoint accuracy, tearing it to shreds. Villagers were still defending the mother and daughter, Su Yong, just let them go. But the next moment, they realized something was wrong. They turned to stare at Zhou Jing in unison. Zhou Jing, how did you manage to snatch that from him so precisely just now? Could it be, your eyes have healed? Zhou Jing blinked as if just realizing her restored vision. My eyes are better? I can really see. Zhou Jing cried and jumped for joy, overcome with emotion. I watched coldly, marveling inwardly at the extraordinary acting skills of this mother-daughter pair. The villagers also rejoiced for Zhou Jing. It seems Lin Zhang is watching over this poor mother and daughter from above. Now both mother and daughter have become normal people. There's hope for their future days. Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. The villager turned to look at me. What are you laughing at? Don't you really think they suddenly recovered? Have you never suspected they've been pretending all along? That's absolutely impossible. What decent person would pretend to be disabled and keep it up for over a decade? And wasn't Lin Zhang borrowing money from you back then supposed to be for treating these mother and daughter? I nodded slightly. Indeed, Lin Zhang borrowed money to get them treatment. One could even say Lin Zhang lost his life trying to get them treated. Lin Zhang and I were childhood friends. He was diligent and capable. During those 10 years of working to get treatment for Zhou Jing and Duo, he worked 3 or 4 jobs every day, never getting more than 3 hours of rest. When Lin Zhang was mentioned, the mother and daughter couldn't control their sobbing. Lin Zhang was the best husband and father in this world. All these years, it's been us mother and daughter dragging him down. But you can't accuse us of faking our illnesses. If our illnesses could have been cured earlier, he wouldn't have died from overwork. Seeing such an emotional scene, many villagers voluntarily stepped forward, willing to help repay part of their debts. Looking at the tear-streaked faces of the mother and daughter, I said coldly, Lin Zhang was indeed a good father, but you two are neither good wives nor good daughters. Zhou Jing and Duo glared at me fiercely. What do you mean by that? Exactly what it sounds like. As I spoke, I pulled out a stack of photos from my coat pocket and handed them to the villagers. Everyone, take a look. The photos showed Zhou Jing and a strange man pushing Duo. Though seemingly normal at first glance, their location was clearly a movie theater. Can a blind person watch a movie? Also, I think we saw this man at Lin Zhang's funeral. Before she could resent me, Zhou Jing hurriedly waved her hands to explain. The man in this photo is my male cousin. We went to the cinema because Duo wanted to see the movie, so he treated us. Besides, even though I'm blind, can't I just go to listen to the sounds in the cinema? The villagers showed displeasure at Zhou Jing's explanation. When Lin Zhang was working himself to death outside for you, how could you still have the heart to go watch movies? Zhou Jing nonchalantly crossed her arms. The doctor said participating in recreational activities helps with our recovery from the conditions. I'm actually helping share Lin Zhang's burden. What right do you have to criticize me? Zhou Jing's retort left the villagers speechless. I cleared my throat lightly. What a coincidence. I also saw this cousin in your photo yesterday, so I invited him over too. As soon as these words fell, the excavator's door swung open and a man was thrown down. Brother Hao. Zhou Jing subconsciously rushed over. She and Duo frantically removed the ropes binding the man, then asked with genuine concern, Brother Hao, are you okay? Zhou Jing glared at me with murderous eyes. What right did you have to tie him up? This is unlawful restraint. We could report you to the police. I smirked disdainfully. No need to bother. Did Lin Zhang ever tell you about my profession? As I spoke, I pulled out my credentials. Zhou Jing stared at the document in disbelief. You're Interpol? The villagers cast strange looks at me. International police? Does this relate to Lin Zhang's missing corpse? Zhou Jing quickly regained composure. Regardless of your questionable identity, bullying civilians makes you unworthy of being an officer. I stared fixedly at Zhou Jing until she flinched and averted her gaze. You don't deserve to be called civilians. You and your daughter are heinous demons. For over a decade, you and your daughter have been feigning illness. Also that you could avoid working and keep Lin Zhang supporting you. The villagers erupted in gasps of shock. Zhou Jing accused me of slandering her. Don't think you can swindle us just because we're uneducated rural folks. I coldly smiled and pulled out a document from my bag. The hospitals you visited before, you bribed doctors with red envelopes to fabricate false certifications. All involved doctors have now been arrested. Here are their signed confessions. What else can you possibly argue now? And that cousin of yours? He's your lover, isn't he? As the villagers saw one signed confession after another, those who had defended Zhou Jing and her daughter moments ago began turning their accusations towards the pair. To think you're such demons. You forced Lin Zhang to shoulder the family's burdens alone while squandering his hard-earned money frolicking with other men. With irrefutable evidence laid bare, Zhou Jing and Duo stopped pretending. It was the luck of 8 lifetimes for Lin Zhang to marry me. Shouldn't he be supporting and providing for us? What's wrong with us pretending to be? He's sick anyway. I just wanted him to be more motivated. Otherwise, he'd remain worthless his whole life. He should be thanking me. Duo clung to Hao Ji's arm. Lin Zhang always smells terrible, while my new daddy is so fragrant. He takes me to eat all kinds of delicious food and plays fun games with me. Only this kind of daddy is my real good daddy. The villagers who had witnessed Lin Zhang's dedication to family and hard work never expected to hear such words from his wife and daughter. The villagers felt Lin Zhang deserved better. They stepped forward and each slapped Zhou Jing and Duo twice. Li Hao became displeased. They're just pursuing the happy life they want. What's wrong with that? Besides, that blockhead Lin Zhang knows nothing except working his muscles to earn money. Lin Zhang provides for their material needs, and I'm responsible for their spiritual lives. He should be thanking me. Zhou Jing looked at me smugly. Even if pretending to be sick with Duo was wrong, you can only criticize us morally. We didn't break any laws. I don't believe you can arrest us. After speaking, Zhou Jing glanced at me defiantly. I pointed at Lin Zhang's empty coffin. Do you really think his corpse was carried off by wild dogs? The truth is, I dug up Lin Zhang's body. The villagers were perplexed. We honor the deceased. He worked himself to death. Shouldn't you let him rest in peace? I sighed deeply, feeling Lin Zhang's injustice. Look at his condition. Do you truly think he could rest peacefully? As I spoke, I produced the autopsy photos. The crowd retched upon seeing the images. Officer, why is Lin Zhang's body hollow inside? I sharply pointed at Zhou Jing. Ask her about all this. All the valuable organs in Lin Zhang's body were sold by her. To prevent the corpse from appearing deformed during burial, she stuffed the corpse with straw. The villagers now looked at Zhou Jing as if she were a beast. No wonder she rushed us to bury Lin Zhang immediately after the coffin was opened. Zhou Jing, while Lin Zhang was alive, you and your daughter faked illnesses to drain his lifeblood. Even after his death, you squeezed out his last drop of value. You stole his organs. How could Lin Zhang face his relatives in the afterlife? Do you want them to mock his shame? Why did Lin Zhang ever marry such a vicious woman like you? Many of the women were brought to angry tears by Zhou Jing's actions. Zhou Jing, however, feigned indifference. Why are you all so superstitious? Since he's already dead, he has no consciousness left. As Lin Zhang's wife, it's only natural I made sure he served his greatest value. As she spoke, she clung to Li Hao's arm. If anyone in your families wants to donate organs, contact my cousin. He has plenty of channels, and prices are negotiable. Li Hao spat. The younger the better. Old organs aren't worth much. And we don't want overworked people like Lin Zhang either. His organ age was nearly equivalent to a 70 to 80-year-old's, which actually cost me money. Zhou Jing also frowned. You see, I didn't make much from his organs either. No need to be jealous of me. Zhou Jing seemed unaware that the rapid aging of Lin Zhang's organs was precisely because he overworked himself to raise medical funds for her and their daughter. Watching Zhou Jing's bone-devouring smirk, I unconsciously clenched my fists, itching to punch her hard. Harvesting organs without the person's consent is illegal. Who would have thought that at this moment? Duo smiled. Uncle Sue, it was me who made my dad personally sign the agreement. How could it be without his consent? Looking at the sinister smile on Duo's face, it truly didn't resemble an expression a minor should possess. It seems during these years of feigning illness with Zhou Jing, she too had become a full-fledged demon. Lin Zhang was such a useless dad. He didn't earn much when alive, and couldn't fetch good money after death either. I still wanted my new dad to take me to Disneyland. The villagers never imagined the child they'd cared for all along could be like this. Lin Zhang was your biological father. How could you say such things? You little demon, you should have been killed when you fell earlier. Why did it have to be Lin Zhang who died? Why couldn't it have been you two demons instead? The village chief wiped old tears from his eyes. Officer Sue, I beg you to arrest these two demons. Zhou Jing smiled faintly. I've already said, Lin Zhang worked himself to death, and the signature was his own. What grounds do you have to arrest me? The village chief wept bitterly. This is truly a sin. I stared coldly at Zhou Jing. Who said Lin Zhang worked himself to death? The chief looked at me in surprise. You mean? Before the chief could finish, Zhou Jing interjected. If he didn't die from exhaustion, are you suggesting I killed him? Duo stepped forward to defend Zhou Jing. He was just too weak and useless. If he hadn't died, my mom and I could have enjoyed more comfortable years. Now that he's dead, we'll have to find jobs. I couldn't help but suspect Duo wasn't Lin Zhang's biological daughter. How else could she say such things? Li Hao also sided with Zhou Jing. You're spouting all this nonsense just to recover the money Lin Zhang owed you, aren't you? You've already dissected his corpse. Give up on this delusion. Don't expect to get a single cent from us. Zhou Jing spoke with equal heartlessness. I have no idea where Lin Zhang spent all that borrowed money. Maybe he secretly indulged in debauchery behind our backs. Seeing Zhou Jing remain stubbornly defiant without a trace of remorse, I directly presented the final evidence. This is Lin Zhang's autopsy report. His true cause of death. AEH wasn't exhaustion. He died from suffocation. Hearing this, the villagers erupted in fury, surrounding Zhou Jing and her child. Demons, get out of our village. Zhou Jing maintained her composure. Maybe he thought himself useless and smothered himself to death. We found abundant fingerprints on his face. Yours and Duodwa's. Did it never cross your mind that someone might actually conduct an autopsy? Faced with ironclad evidence, Zhou Jing staggered and nearly collapsed. Beside her, Li Hao already looked pale. Are you saying Lin Zhang was killed by the mother-daughter duo working together? Li Hao's eyes were filled with fear, his gaze toward Zhou Jing and duo growing extremely complex. He staggered backward in terror. Zhou Jing, is this really true? Zhou Jing sensed Li Hao's fear. Brother Hao, what do you mean by this? I did all of this for our happy life together. Didn't you promise to take me abroad? You're not going back on your word, are you? As she spoke, Zhou Jing desperately clutched Li Hao's arm. Li Hao glared in disgust, struggling violently. Let go of me, you murderous demon. Duo rushed forward and clung tightly to his legs. Dadly, Mom, and I did all of this for you. Li Hao, utterly terrified, instinctively slapped both Zhou Jing and Duo. Let me go, you beasts. Beasts. Zhou Jing touched her reddened cheek in disbelief. She screamed hysterically. When you were spending my money, why didn't you call me a beast then? If it weren't to secure a stable life abroad, would I have resorted to murder? Li Hao, you're our accomplice. Perhaps Li Hao had once viewed Zhou Jing as nothing more than a lazy, unfaithful woman, but the madness in her eyes now struck him as utterly terrifying. He cast a pleading look at me. Officer Su, save me. Before he could finish, Zhou Jing picked up a stone from the ground and smashed it down onto the back of Li Hao's head. Li Hao collapsed to the ground unconscious. Zhou Jing's eyes burned crimson as she screamed. Who dares to stop me from living a better life? I'll kill them. Zhu Yong, this is all your fault for ruining my plans. I'll kill you. Zhou Jing charged at me with the stone, apparently oblivious to my identity as an Interpol officer. With a swift countergrab, I subdued her and snapped handcuffs around her wrists. Duo rushed forward in panic, shouting, Let go of my mom. Let go of my mom. I slapped her across the face directly. This is from your father. The villagers stepped forward and began kicking and punching the mother and daughter. They felt Lin Zhang's death was utterly undeserved. I took out my phone, preparing to call the police to handle the aftermath. Unexpectedly, Zhou Jing suddenly burst into tears. Even Lin Zhang never hit me. How dare you lay hands on me? We faked illnesses for years. And he never noticed. He was too stupid himself. How is that our fault? Hearing this, a sharp pain stabbed through my heart. After a moment's hesitation, I decided to take out the letter. I threw the letter in front of Zhou Jing and Duo. Read it yourself. Did you really think Lin Zhang was that foolish? This letter was written to me by Lin Zhang 2 years ago. In it, he revealed he'd suspected long ago that Zhou Jing and Duo were faking their illnesses. But he never exposed them, because Lin Zhang felt that as Zhou Jing's husband and Duo's father, he had the obligation to let them live an easy life. At the end of the letter, he wrote, Whether they lied to me doesn't matter, as long as my love for them remains true and sufficient. In some ways, Lin Zhang was indeed foolish. After reading the letter, Zhou Jing couldn't help but wail hysterically. Impossible. This absolutely can't be true. If he really knew we were faking illnesses, he should have exposed us long ago. How could he willingly sacrifice everything for us alone? Because he loved you and Duo. Zhou Jing clutched the letter desperately, crying until she nearly fainted. Lin Zhang, why were you so foolish? Why didn't you scold me or expose me? Zhou Jing crawled to my feet, desperately grabbing my pant leg. Where's Lin Zhang's body? I beg you, let me see him one last time. I stared coldly at her. Unnecessary. He definitely wouldn't want to see you. Zhou Jing frantically kowtowed to me. I was wrong. It was my fault. Please let me see him one more time. Just one glance. You don't deserve it. 3 brief words struck her heart like a bullet. Zhou Jing fell backward, staring fixedly at Lin Zhang's utterly empty coffin. Finally, Zhou Jing and her daughter were taken away by arriving police. Zhou Jing received death penalty for intentional homicide, while Duo was sentenced to life imprisonment. Before execution, Zhou Jing expressed her wish to be buried with Lin Zhang. Believing Lin Zhang